Hi, everyone. My name is Rain from Protech here, and we're very excited today to invite the Executive Director from CCNCTO, Justin Kong, to speak with us a bit about the organization and the work that they do. So hi,
Hi, Ray.
Justin.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
Thank you very much for taking your precious time to share your information and knowledge with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Amazing. So my first question is, can you tell us a bit about some of the core services that your organization provides to the Chinese community, Asian Canadian communities in the GTA?
Yeah, so at CCNC Toronto, we've been working around issues of like social justice, equity, and sort of community development for the obviously the past few years, but for a long time now, since the organization started in 1980. Um, so we do work around community development, so around community education. We run programs around different topics and different areas of need in the community. For example, uh, we do work around workers' rights, around social justice, immigrant justice, gender justice, and so on and so forth. Right. So our work has also, been one that is grounded in race relations, recognizing that, Chinese Canadian communities face racism and also are a part of the racialized community, and that we need to work with other racialized communities to fight for changes for racial justice in Toronto, in Ontario, and in Canada.
Wow, that's a lot of work you guys are doing. That's really great. Um, and we wanted to know, since the pandemic, we noticed how the needs of the communities of your organizations have changed.
Yeah, so I think, like obviously with the pandemic, a lot of our work shifted to, being revolving around the pandemic, right? Whether that's providing information, providing services, um, conducting outreach to vulnerable populations, ensuring that vulnerable peoples have support, the support that they need, right? So as a result of COVID-19, we also know that anti-Asian racism has intensified, right? So that is also a big area of the work, right? Is responding to the anti-Asian racism, but also responding to the concrete needs and supporting vulnerable workers in the community, right? And other vulnerable peoples, like sometimes vulnerable seniors. And so our focus is really based around that now in the middle of the pandemic, ensuring that vulnerable populations get the support they need, and we do that not through a charity model, but through like a community organizing model, right? Empowering our members, empowering people who are themselves from vulnerable groups to support and outreach and help others in the community, right? And through that process, build up the solidarity within our community.
And do you find that your organization has been having to adapt to some of these changing needs?
Yeah, definitely. We have had to adapt to these needs. It's important to meet the community where they're at, provide what is needed.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the resources that your organization developed to address some of these needs in the communities in response to the pandemic?
Yeah, so we provide daily updates around. So basically, there's a few parts, right? Like the informational is one part, right? Like providing good information to the community, right? Especially to people who might not already access that information, right? So we're thinking of people who are maybe like technology limited, right? Ensuring they have the correct information, whether that's around health, around social benefits, and around basically anything, right? Another part is ensuring that we're meeting the community where they're at, right? So going into the community um, to do that vulnerable sector outreach, is challenging within the pandemic, but it's something that we have to do, right? Because vulnerable communities are often, prevented from accessing those resources, right? Yeah, and so we also run a frontline worker support program, and so the support program has been providing resources to frontline workers.
Mm-hmm. And so now that we are facing the second wave of the pandemic, what do you see might be some of the emerging challenges that we need to work with in our communities to prepare for it? And some of the programs and activities that your organization might be planning in response to it?
Yeah, so I think it's more the continuing the work, right, and continuing to support the community where they're at.
Okay. So in terms of Protech, how do you think Protech and other community partners and other community members working with your organizations can either support your work or effectively address some of the needs that our communities have?
Yeah, so I think Protech can support the work of community organizations by providing, additional labor to small organizations like ours, whether that means organizing volunteers or providing staff time, providing I guess like capital investment would be good. Resources in terms of money would also be great to support the work of small organizations like ours. Yeah, I think often in research there's often unfair relationship between the community and the researchers. So how to address that and to ensure that researchers are working equitably with our community is really important, right? Because I think a lot of times researchers access hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, right? And for community organizations, like small community organizations like ours, that's unimaginable, right? What do we do with that money? How do we make sure the money goes back into the community? How do we make sure money goes back into the people, vulnerable people who are working in the community, right? Whether it's vulnerable workers or whatnot is important, right? And making sure it's not just we're just doing research, but we're actually investing into our communities.
For sure, absolutely. Do you have any other ideas or issues or any call for actions that you want to share with some of our audiences?
Yes, definitely. You can, if you we're doing work around anti-Asian racism. So if you experience anti-Asian racism, or if you're looking for more resources, you can get in touch with us at covidracism.ca. If you're a frontline worker or in the Chinese Canadian community and you need support, you can get in touch with us at CCNCToronto.ca. And call us at 416-596-0833. Or you can find us on WeChat. Our WeChat ID is CCNC Toronto.
Great. Wow. Well, thank you very much for your time, Justin. It was a pleasure meeting with you and hearing you speak about some of the work that your organization is doing.
Thank you, Rain. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right.